Good day, ma'am. I am Hanah Purgarillas from BSHM 3A, and I am going to report Chapter 6. So, Chapter 6 have this topic outline. First is the Department of Tourism, Philippine Tourism Authority, Intramuros Administration, National Parks Development Committee, National Historic Institute, National Center for Culture and Arts, the Philippine Convention and Visitor Corporation, Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, National Economic Development Authority, Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation, Department of Environment and Natural Resources, Department of Labor and Employment, Department of Public Works and Highways, Department of Transportation and Communication, Department of Trade and Industry, Board of Investment, Philippine Economic Zone Authority, Board of Investment, Department of Foreign Affairs, Department of Interior and Legal Government, Bureau of Food and Drugs, Bureau of Customs, the Philippine Coast Guard, Professional Regulatory Board of Custom Brokers, Nayong Filipino Foundation, and Tourism Enterprise Zone Authority. So in the end of the topic, here's our learning objectives. First is to identify the various government agencies involved in the development and promotions of the tourism industry, as well as their functions. Next is describe the relationships of these agencies with one another. Lastly is explain the possibility of public service as a career in the industry. So the Philippine government established key agencies to boost tourism and preserve cultural heritage. The Department of Tourism was created in 1973 under Presidential Decree Number 189 to oversee tourism policies, promote travel, and regulate the industry. It ensures travel regulations are efficient, promotes Philippine-made products, and accredits tourism-related businesses. The Philippine Tourism Authority, or the PTA, is strengthened by Presidential Decree Number 564 in 1974. Manages tourism development projects, supports private sector investment, and collects travel taxes to fund its initiatives. The Intramuros Administration was established in 1979 under Presidential Decree Number 1616 to restore and maintain Intramuros as a historical site. It regulates land use, enforces architectural guidelines, and supports cultural events to protect its Spanish-era heritage from modernization pressures. Together, these agencies play vital roles in sustaining tourism, economic growth, and cultural preservations in the Philippines. So, overview of government agencies and their roles. First is the National Parks Development Committee, or the NPDC, manages national parks like Luneta and Quezon Memorial, remains under the office of the President despite previous transfer attempts. Next is the National Historical Institute, or the NHI, declares and preserves historical sites, monuments, and landmarks. It conducts historical research and commemorations. Next is the National Commission for Cultural and the Arts, or the NCCA. It oversees cultural policies and programs, funds artistic endeavors, and preserves Filipino heritage. Next is the Philippine Convention and Visitor Corporation, or the PCVC. It promotes the Philippines as a tourism and conventional destination, provides support for travel planners. Next is the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, manages financial policies, oversees the Philippine International Convention Center. Next is the National Economic Development Authority, or the NEDA, the chief planning agency for economic policies, advises the President and coordinates national development strategies. Next is the Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation, or the PAGCOR, regulates and operates legal gambling establishments, uses revenues to fund government projects. Next is the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, or the DENR, manages conservation and sustainable use of natural resources. It regulates pollution, wildlife protection, and land use. Next is the Department of Labor and Employment, or the DOLE, which protects workers' rights and ensures fair employment practices, regulates wages and working conditions. Next is the Department of Public Works and Highways, or the DPWH, that contracts and maintains national infrastructure and ensures the quality and safety of roads and bridges. Next is the Department of Transportation and Communication, or the DOTC, that regulates and develops transport and communication networks that ensures safe and efficient public transport system. Here are the key DOTC attached agency. First is the Land Transportation Office, or the LTO, licenses, drivers, and registers vehicles. Second is the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, or the LTFRB, that regulates public transport services. Third is the Maritime Industry Authority, or the MARINA, oversees maritime safety and development. Fourth is the Air Transportation Office, or the ATO, that manages airports and civil aviation. Next is the Civil Aeronautics Board, or the CAB, that regulates airline operations. Next is Light Rail Transit Authority, or the LRTA, that develops and operates light rail transit system. Next is the Metro Rail Transit Corporation, or the MRTC, that builds and operates MRT3 under a contract. Department of Trade and Industry, or the DTI. The Department of Trade and Industry is the Philippines' main government body for trade, industry, and investment. Established under Executive Order 133, its mission is to drive economic growth by promoting industrialization, trade liberalization, and market expansion. It also regulates domestic and foreign trade, ensures stable prices and supply of essential goods, and enhances the business environment for both local and international investors. Next is the Philippine Economic Zone Authority, or the PEZA. It is established under Republic Act No. 7916. PEZA oversees special economic zones, Cs including industrial estates, export processing zones, and IT parks. Next is the Department of Foreign Affairs, or the DFA. The Department of Foreign Affairs is the government's arm in shaping and implementing the Philippines' foreign policy. It's established in 1898. Its role has evolved from seeking international recognition for Philippine independence to maintaining diplomatic relations, promoting economic and security cooperation, and advocating for Filipino interests abroad. So these agencies work together to create a business-friendly environment, strengthen trade and investment, and position the Philippines as a competitive player in the global economy. So next is the Department of Interior and Local Government, or the DILG. The DILG oversees local government units, ensuring they follow national policies. It helps the President supervise local governance, maintain public order, and promote autonomy. Second is the Bureau of Food and Drugs, or the BFAD. BFAD ensures the safety and quality of food, medicines, cosmetics, and medical devices in the Philippines. It regulates businesses in this industry, requiring them to obtain licenses and product registration. Third is the Bureau of Customs, or the BOC. The BOC collects tariffs and taxes on imported goods, prevents smuggling, and enforces trade laws. Fourth is the Philippine Coast Guard. The PCG enforces maritime laws, ensures maritime safety, and manages navigation aids. It also conducts rescue operations and helps in national defense. It operates under the Department of Transportation, or the DOTR. Sixth is the Nayong Filipino Foundation. It is a non-profit government corporation that promotes Filipino heritage through cultural research, preservation, and tourism-related projects. Seventh is the Tourism Enterprise Zone Authority that oversees tourism enterprises zones or TEZS, which is designed areas for tourism development. It grants tax incentives and regulates tourism-related businesses to boost the industry. These government agencies play a vital role in maintaining order, public safety, economic regulation, and cultural development in the Philippines. And that's all for Chapter 6. Thank you.